Hello. Today we're going to be learning about chemical bonding. So let's start. There are three types of chemical bonds. There's ionic bond, covalent bond, and metallic bond. Ionic bond is between a metal and a nonmetal, and we're going to look at that on the periodic table in a second. When we have a covalent bond is between a nonmetal and a nonmetal. And an ionic bond, as the word suggests, metallic bond is between two metals. So just keep that in mind that the three types of bonding are ionic, covalent, and metallic. Okay, let's check this out using our periodic table so we can understand where our metals and our nonmetals are. So we're all familiar with the periodic table. So on the periodic table, about 75% of the elements are metal, and the remaining 25% are nonmetal. So our metals are all of these guys here. So I'm just gonna use my pen and just kind of go around here. So this would be our group one, this would be our group two, and so forth. And we get up to here. So these are all our metals. And on this side here, these are our nonmetals. So when we talk about bonding, when we said ionic bonding is between a metal and a nonmetal, we are talking a bit about anyone on this side bonding with anyone on this side would be our ionic bond. Covalent bonding would be when any nonmetal bonds with itself. So if we have two nonmetals bonding, that would be covalent bond. In terms of metallic bonding is when we have two metals bonding. So when anyone on this side bonds together, that would be metallic bonding. So let's check this out and see if we understand how that would work. Okay, so I just put the periodic table on the side there so we can have that as a reference as we work on some examples. Okay, so let's look at the first example. In example number one, we are looking at NO2. Now remember, in a previous lesson, I had mentioned that a compound is formed when we have two or more elements combined. So this is a compound. As a matter of fact, all of these are compounds. So let's look at this one. So first we want to identify what are the two elements in our compound. In this example, we have N and we have O, right? Then we want to figure out where does N and O fall on our periodic table. Let's look at it. So I see N right here and I see O right here. So the fact that both of these elements are in the non-metal group, as I've mentioned in the previous slide, we have N is a non-metal and O is a non-metal. That means that this is a covalent bond. Now let's look at Na and Cl. So first thing you want to do is you want to identify what are the two elements that are in that compound. So I've identified that there's Na and then there's Cl. Now, if you ever forget, you can always look at your reference table, which you always have at hand, or as I've had on the side here, so that you can figure out where it really is the elements, right? You will notice that N by itself would not be an element in this case because A is not an element. Instead, N and A comes together. Okay, so let's see if we can find where these are. So Na is on this side. Remember, Na is sodium. And I see Cl all the way over here. So now what we have is a metal and a non-metal bonding together. Metal and a non-metal. So Na is our metal, right? And then of course you can write that in here as Na is our metal. And Cl is our non-metal. So that would mean that once we have a metal and a non-metal, that is a type of ionic bond. So I'm just going to do a few examples with us together because you're going to try the rest. Now let's try this one at the bottom. One more. Look at this one. It's Ca and Cn. Well, let's see where these guys are. Ca is here, and where would Cn be? Zinc. So Zn, we are looking for Cn. Did we find ZN or did I miss it? Whoa, it was right next to CA. Look at it. All right, so remember that we are still in our metal group, right? All of this is metal. So the fact that these are two metals bonded together, it must mean that we have, in this case, we have a type of metallic bonding. Okay, so you're going to practice the rest, of course, but I just wanted to make sure we see how this would work in reference to the periodic table. So just a quick reminder again that there are three types of bonding: ionic, covalent, and metallic. Ionic is when we have metal and a non-metal bonding. Covalent is when we have a non-metal and a non-metal bonding. And metallic is when we have a metal and metal bond.